Hare Krishna. Uh, Welcome everyone on our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinim Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Once again, welcome everyone. So in the last session we were talking about Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, text number 7 through 11, I think we discussed. So overall, so far, what we have discussed is Lord Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, answering his question, should he engage in work or should he renounce everything and go to forest? So Lord Krishna says, real renunciation is not renunciation of work, but the real renunciation is renouncing the fruits of the work, the result of the work. So acting in a spirit of performing our duty without attachment to the result. And then Lord Krishna says, if somebody renounces everything, but he maintains the attachment to the sense objects, he is a hypocrite. Mithyachara sa uchyate. And then Lord Krishna says, one cannot live without work. One has to do something even to sustain oneself, to maintain this body. One has to do something. So one cannot live without work. And then Lord Krishna speak about the principle of Yagya. So this is we started discussing last time, the principle of Yagya. So Yagya is as a principle and as a activity also. Activity of Yagya is like doing the fire sacrifice, the Homa. So that is a activity. But in principle, Yagya means performing any action for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So then every activity is a Yagya. Now text number 11 through 16, Krishna talk about the benefits of performing the Yagya. Okay. Anybody will like to mention something? What are the benefits do we see as performing this Yagya? What Krishna is referring here as a Yagya, that we should engage in the performance of Yagya. Otherwise, the karma, the any activity becomes binding in this material world. Okay, and then Krishna, text number 11, Krishna says, in the beginning, all the system of Yagya was created. When the Prajapati created all the living entities, along with he created the principle of Yagya. So by performance of the Yagya, everybody stays as a mutual reciprocation, satisfying each other. They stay happy in that way. So what are the overall benefits of performing the Yagya? Why performance of Yagya is so much required for the human beings? Anybody? So what is our general understanding, the purpose of doing yagya? No, everybody's so quiet. So say something.
Prabhuji, in order to purify the atmosphere, or
Okay, to purify the atmosphere. Okay, when we perform a yagya, in the sense of that activity of yagya, it, when you pour the ghee in the fire, it releases a lot of oxygen, right? So it is purifying to the environment. Okay, anybody else?
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
yeah, Prabhuji,
Shama,
for
go ahead.
me, yeah, what I understood is like it is sacrificing some things in our life. Yajna indicates like whatever we have excess or whatever, we are addicted to something. If we sacrifice something, that may purify us, like how like the fire purify the whole atmosphere. Like that we can cleanse our heart by
Okay,
sacrificing things.
good, good. So performing yagya, performing sacrifice, it purifies it. The purpose of yagya is our purification, purifying our heart. Okay, very good. Yes, Rahul Prabhu, Satish Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I was thinking maybe as a way to invoke such special thoughts and I guess different uh, different incarnations of God, such
Okay,
to bring the right qualities in front of you as you're doing the yagya. You keep reminding yourself of the different qualities you want to possess as well.
okay. So performance of yagya in the sense of remembrance of different pastimes of the Lord or the different incarnations of the Lord.
Yeah.
And focusing on what qualities we want to acquire. Okay, good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Maybe you can correct me, but to pay one of the debt to the rishis or some other thing like.
Okay, good. To pay off our debts to the other living beings. Yes. So we're going to talk about that also in more detail, actually. What Krishna says, or what Prabhupada is writing in one of the purport, the 5 type of yagyas mentioned to pay off the 5 type of debts. Okay, good. So all are good answers. So in journal here, if we see the flow of text 11 through 16, what Krishna is mentioning, the benefits of performing the yagya. So first benefit which Krishna is focusing on is the material prosperity, the material benefits by performance of yagya. One will be able to please the Devi Devatas, and in that way they will shower the gifts for our sustenance in this material world. So the first benefit is in general material prosperity. And then Krishna further goes on to explaining it's not just for material prosperity. Ultimate goal is our purification, purifying our existence, purifying our heart, and then ultimately becoming eligible to go into the kingdom of God, to enter into the spiritual world. So these are the ultimate benefits of performing yagya. Yes, the basic, at the basic level, at the beginning level, it does talk about the material benefits. So that's from where the text number 12 is mentioning. So let's read that text. So chapter 3, text number 12. Eshan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yagya bhavitah Tair dattan apradebhyo yo bhungte stena eva saha. So, in charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of Yagya, Ishtan Bhogan hi vo deva. So, by being satisfied by our performance of Yagya, the demigods, they will provide, they will supply all the necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. Yo bhungte stein eva saha. Steina means thief. So the demigods, the in charge of the various necessities of life, like we are using air, we are using sunshine, we are using moonlight, we are using water. So all the various necessities of life are being provided to us. And if we do not offer them back in the form of yagya, if we try to enjoy all these natural resources, the gifts which are given to us, so if we try to enjoy all these without offering our gratitude to the demigods, then what we are called here, Krishna is saying, Yo bhungte steina evasa. Then one is certainly a thief. So, example to understand is, let's say we have the water connection coming to our home, or the gas line, right? Electricity connection. So all these are there coming to our home. And if we utilize all these things, we utilize the gas line, the electricity, water, but if we don't pay the bill, so then what is that called? In the eyes of the government, then we will be like the thieves, that we are utilizing those resources, but we are not paying the dues. So same way, people who take the natural resources, and we don't even bother, we are getting so much sunlight, we are getting so much air, and if we are not paying back for those natural resources, giving back to the devatas, then we are known as thief. See, generally, we don't even understand how much resources we are using. So at the time of COVID, when people had to use those oxygen cylinders, then they realized how valuable that is, or how expensive that is to use one oxygen cylinder. If you have to use it on a regular basis, pay for that, how much it will be. Same way for the sunshine. See, if we at night, if we turn on our bulbs, electric bulb, tube light, we have to pay the bill for that. And just utilizing little bit of that electricity to run one bulb or tube light, it will get $100 of bill on a monthly basis, and we pay those bills. But if you compare the sunlight, if the sun god starts sending the bill to us, you know how much that bill will be if we have to pay that bill. Just consider the Michigan. What is the area of the Michigan? It's like 100,000 square mile. And if we calculate that bill just at the rate of 5 cents per kilowatt hour, right now, what is the electric charge for 1 kilowatt hour? What is the rate going on right now? It's more than 50 cents, right? But if we just calculate even with 5 cents for kilowatt hour, and for that much area of the Michigan, the bill, if the sun starts sending us the bill, it will be like 500 billions per day. And who has the capacity to pay that kind of bill? But we do not realize how much natural resources we are using without even showing our gratitude to the in charge of the nature. So for us, that's why we cannot pay billions of dollars of bill. We have been given so much of concession that you don't need to pay that much. Just show your little gratitude by performance of this yagya, and it will take care of all that. Say, like generally, if you earn $100,000 in income, you have to pay some tax, whatever tax bracket you are, 20%, 30%. So you have to pay that tax. But if you start claiming some expenses in some other way, that, oh, I have this business, and you claim some expenses in that, or you invest your money in some other money investment schemes, your 401k, pre-tax money or something. So you get some tax concession in that. and you don't have to pay the whole 20% on your net income. It will be some tax deductible income. But if somebody doesn't pay at all any tax, that is called the tax evasion, right? Somebody is stealing away the tax. The same way, if we don't pay for the natural resources, we are like thieves in the eyes of the God. Now, often people ask this one question. People think, oh, I'm a very virtuous person. I lead a very virtuous life. I do not harm anyone. I do not steal from anybody. I am just earning my hard-earned income and I am spending that money for my enjoyment. But I do not harm anybody. I am a very virtuous person, but I don't believe in worshiping God. I don't believe in God. So am I doing anything wrong? I am a very gentle, sober person. So what is wrong in that? If I am an atheist, if I don't believe in existence of God? So that is the question which is answered here, if we really see. So Krishna is saying, okay, you may be a very virtuous person. You are not harming anybody. You are trying to lead your life in a very sober, gentle way. But if the person does not recognize the existence of God, if somebody does not recognize the benefits which are given by God and just utilizes all those things, that he is a thief in the eyes of God. So just for example, if you walk into somebody's house, okay, and without taking permission, without recognizing the honor, you go enter into the bedroom and you lay down on the bedroom, you start drinking the whatever is kept, some juices in the refrigerator, you start eating the food which is kept in the refrigerator, you start using the restrooms of that person without taking the permission from the owner of the house. So what will happen? What will be called? We may say, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not harming that person, harming the owner of the home, but we will be still considered the thief in the eyes of the law, because we are trying to utilize somebody else's property without their sanction, without their permission. So from the eyes of the law will be thief. So same way, from the eyes of God, if we do not reciprocate back, if we do not acknowledge all the resources which we are using, if we do not show our gratitude for those, then we are certainly a thief. So what Krishna is mentioning here, that one should perform these yagyas as a matter of showing your gratitude. So in the beginning, this Karamakanda Yagya system can be compared to a temptation which is given to us for temporary benefit. But ultimately, there is a higher purpose behind this. Right? In the beginning, it may appear like that, okay, I perform this Karamakanda Yagya, I get some material benefit. But ultimately, there is a higher purpose, which is our purification. Just like a mother can give some temptation to the child. The child doesn't want to go to school, he doesn't like going to school, he doesn't like studying. So mother gives some temptation. Oh, I will give you one chocolate, I will give you a Cadbury. So if you go to school nicely, if you do your homework, then I will give you this. So in the beginning, the child may be attracted by that temptation. Oh, let me just go to school, let me do my work, so my mother will give me this. If the child continues in the same manner going to school just because of getting that benefit of chocolate, he does not understand the ultimate benefit of going to school itself, then he is losing. But if the child ultimately understand, oh, if I go to school, if I study nicely, then I can learn a lot of things, I can go to college, I can get a degree, I can earn my livelihood. So that is the ultimate purpose behind that. In the beginning, yes, mother is giving some temptation for him to go to school. So same way, Krishna is telling us, you perform these yagyas, by performance of the yagyas, the demigods will be satisfied and they will shower the benefits, the gifts on you. So that is the temptation given in the beginning, right? One may think, I need to get some material benefit, so let me perform this yagya. But ultimately, one need to understand the performance of yagya is for our purification. Now, when we perform the yagyas and we put some ahuti in that, We discussed it last time also. Idam Krishna Swaha Namamaha. So something like that, we recite the mantras that this is for Krishna, not for me. Idam Indraya Swaha Namamaha. So all these mantras are recited saying these are for the satisfaction of these demigods. It does not belong to me. But when we are putting those ahuti of grains or whatever it is, does it really mean that the devatas are dependent on us for the food which we are offering through these yagyas? If we do not offer those ahutis, are they going to starve, that they have no food or something? So one should understand that this is not they are in need of something, that if we don't put those ahutis, they are going to starve. Ultimately, we are supposed to perform that as a matter of our duty, as a reciprocation for receiving all these gifts. So as Satish Prabhu said, the system of Yagya is like paying the debts, paying our taxes to the cosmic government. And as a result, the cosmic government, they provides the necessities of life. Just like we pay our taxes to the government and the government is providing some basic facilities. They are constructing the roads, parkways, hospitals, and whatever, right? All the schools, etc. So we pay taxes and the government provides some facilities. So same way, the Yagya is like paying our taxes to the cosmic government. As a result, we receive all the basic necessities of our life. And here in the scripture, it talk about 5 type of yagyas that human beings are supposed to perform, because we have 5 type of debts. Anybody knows what are these 5 type of debts, or the 5 type of yagya which we are supposed to perform? You don't have to tell the technical names, you can just tell the basic terminology also. What are the 5 type of debts we have, and the 5 type of yagya one is supposed to perform?
One for parents.
Okay, one for parents, our pitras basically.
That is for rishis.
Natural resources. One for the natural resources.
Okay, one for national resources. Okay, I'm talking about
One for the guru.
one for the gurus, or in general sense, one is for the sages or the saints who are giving us all these teachings in form of scriptures and everything. So yes, one is towards our parents in terms of our forefathers. Second one is towards sages, saints. Other ones?
Supreme.
What was that, Vijay Prabhu?
The Supreme Father. One is for the Supreme Father.
Not really. It's saying in this material world, these are the 5 type of debts we are supposed to pay. So we got 2. Anybody else?
Your spouse.
Spouse. Okay, that all comes under. Yes, so it is there towards our family members.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is another type of debts towards our family members. Then the other are towards journal living entities. Journal living entity means even the animals, birds, insects, the earthworm kind of thing. So those are the journal living entities. Then Manushya, all the human beings in general in our society. It could be our family members or in general in our society. Then to our forefathers, towards the sages, brahmanas, and then towards the demigods, right? Which we already discussed, towards the devas. So these are the 5 type of debt. And for that, there are 5 type of yagyas mentioned. So first one is Bhuta Yagya. Bhuta Yagya means sacrifice for all the living entities, sacrifice towards the living entities. It's in the form of putting some food for them, some water for them, right? Giving some food to dog, to the cow, to feeding something to the birds, putting some grains for the fishes or something. So that is Bhuta Yagya. Then Manushya Yagya. Manushya Yagya is sacrifice to the fellow human beings, again giving some charity or through our service by helping them. So that is the Yagya, how the Manushya Yagya is performed. Then Pitra Yagya. Pitra Yagya is sacrifice towards our forefathers, to relieve ourselves towards the debt towards the forefathers. So that Pitra Yagya is performed in the sense of Shraddha ceremony, right? By offering the Pinda, by offering them food and water. Then Deva Yagya. Deva Yagya means sacrifice towards the demigods, which is our fire sacrifice, which is performed, in which we put some oblation in that, offering the various grains, sort of things. And then Brahma Yagya. Brahma Yagya means sacrifice to the sages, for the sages who are giving us so much knowledge, who have given us so much of the scriptures and everything. And how this Brahma Yagya is performed? By studying the scriptures, right? By studying the scriptures and by passing on that knowledge to others. So this is these are the 5 type of debt, and corresponding to them, the 5 type of yagyas. Now, so every human being is actually supposed to perform some sort of yagya. If we don't perform these yagyas, we are not showing our gratitude. So ultimate conclusion is developing that attitude of gratitude. And in Krishna consciousness, when we come to this process of Krishna consciousness also, there also we need to develop this attitude of gratitude, to show our gratitude for anyone who has helped us to progress in our Krishna consciousness. So being grateful to them. Not that, okay, now I have progressed a little bit, now I also know a lot, or I have also now taken Diksha, now I am also doing some act services in the temple, now I have become equal to that person who has introduced me to Krishna consciousness, so now I don't need to deal with that person. No, we need to develop, we need to maintain that gratitude. All the people who have helped us in our journey of Krishna consciousness. So ultimately, it's about developing this attitude of gratitude. Just like when somebody gives a gift to the child, right? So what do the parent teach the child? Better say thank you, right? Or when somebody even give you some small thing also, some candy or something, what are we teaching our children? Say thank you. So same way, Krishna is providing us so many things through nature, all these natural resources. So we need to learn to say thank you. So nowadays, even in birthday parties, there is a concept of return gifts, right? The same way, yagyas are a system of return gift to the universal administrators. And specifically for this age of Kali Yuga, what is the recommended yagya? Recommended yagya for this age is Sankirtan Yagya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So if we are not performing any other sort of yagya in terms of fire sacrifices, just if somebody engages in this process of chanting, process of kirtan, we are performing that yagya. And when we are performing the yagya, Krishna becomes pleased and everybody else becomes satisfied. So performance of yagya is a means by which we harmonize with the Supreme Lord. And through that, all our material and spiritual needs are fulfilled. So performance of yagya, highly recommended. Here Krishna is saying one should perform the yagya as a matter of paying their debts for all the gifts we are receiving. Now text number 13 is also one of the very, very important verse, which is very frequently quoted verse. So yagya shishtashinah santo muchyante sarvakilvashe bhajante te tva agham papam bhunjate te tva agham papam ye pachantyatma karanat. So yagya shishta asina santo muchyante sarvakilvashe. The devotees of the Lord, they are released from all sort of sin, all kind of sin, because they eat food which is offered first as a sacrifice. Yagya shishta asina. And then the second opposite to that is what Krishna is saying. If they don't do that, then what happens? Bhunjate tetva agham papa. Ye pachante atma karanat. So others who prepare the food for their own personal enjoyment, for their own sense enjoyment, they are eating sin only. Tetva agham papa. So what this verse is speaking is all the food first should be offered to the Lord as a sacrifice, and then it should be taken as prasad. If one is not doing that, then he is eating sin only. So when we offer the food to Krishna, we are acknowledging that I do not have capacity to produce this food. Even the seed which I got, that's not my production, right? I have got the seed from somewhere, then I saw the seed. I am maybe just doing my little endeavor of watering the plant or something, but how the plant grows, how these all these so much of fruit and vegetable grow on that plant, I have no capacity to produce this food. It's all by mercy of the Lord that he is providing this food. So when we are offering the food, we are acknowledging that this is provided by you, and I am very grateful to you. So the best prasad or the best bhoga which can be offered to the Lord is if the devotees are growing that food, if it is transported by the devotees, it is cooked by the devotees and then offered to Krishna. That is the best prasad. At least we should be offering. Right? We are not producing in our own farm, right? Somebody is producing in the farm and then they transport, it comes in the market, we go to store, pick that. So only thing we can do is we can cook and we can offer to the Lord. So that part as at least we should do. And it's not about just being a vegetarian. Vegetarianism in itself is not all in all. It does not free us from all the karmic reaction. So Krishna is saying very clearly here, right? Even somebody is cooking a very nice sattvic food, vegetarian food, but if it is not offered to Krishna, it will be still like eating sin only. He is not relieved from the karma. So vegetarianism is only being vegetarian is not enough. We need to offer our food to the Supreme Lord. Now, in Karmakanda system of Yagya is fire sacrifice and then taking the remnants of fire sacrifice. But as a devotee, as a practicing devotee, our form of Yagya is chanting the holy name and offering the food to Krishna. Right? That is our system of Yagya. Now, here it is mentioned, Ahar Shuddho Sattva Shuddhi. Sattva Shuddho Dhruva Smritir. Smritir Labhe Sarva Granthinam Vipramoksha. So by performance of Yagya, what happens? Ahar Shuddha. The eatables become sanctified. And by eating sanctified food, what happens? Sattva Shuddhi. Our existence become purified. One comes to the level of goodness. So Sattva Shuddho. And then when one's existence is purified, then what happens? Sattva Shuddho Dhruva Smritir. Then our memory is sanctified. Dhruva Smritir Labhe Sarva Granthinam. And then one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined lead to our progress in the spiritual path, our progress in Krishna consciousness. Because eating the sanctified food is very important, eating the sattvic food. And Krishna talk in more detail about the different type of foods, food in the mode of goodness, food in the mode of passion, food in the mode of ignorance also. And if somebody is situated in a particular mode, in a particular mode of material nature, what is their destination? So in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained food in all three modes. So Krishna described what is the food in the mode of goodness. And what are the qualities of that food which is in the mode of goodness. So Ayu, Sattva, Bala, Arogya, Sukha, Priti Vivardhana, Rasya Sanigdha, Sthita Hridaya, Ahar, Satvika Priya. So food dear to those in the mode of goodness. Somebody who is situated in mode of goodness, what kind of food is dear to them? Which increases the duration of life, Ayu. Then it purifies one's existence, Sattva. Then it gives physical strength, Bala. It gives a better health, Arogya. It gives happiness, Sukha. Priti Vivardhanam, it brings satisfaction. And such food, what does that food look like? What is contained in that food? It says Rasaya Snigdha Sthithar Hridaya. So that food is juicy, Rasaya. It's very juicy food, like the fruits, vegetables, right? Those are juicy fruits, juicy food. Then Snigdha, which is fatty, like the ghee. Snigdha word is actually used for ghee at many places. So Snigdha means which is ghee, fatty, like the milk, ghee, butter, yogurt. So the milk products. So these are the type of food which is in the mode of goodness, and it is increasing the duration of life. It purifies one's existence. It gives strength. It gives better health. It gives brings happiness and satisfaction to the heart. So, and Krishna also tells in Bhagavad Gita, people in different modes of material nature, what is their destination? Urdhvam gacchanti sattvastha madhya tishtante rajasah jaghannaya guna vrittistha adho gacchanti tamasah. So somebody who is situated in the mode of ignorance, they go to the hellish planets, they go to the lower regions. Adho gacchanti tamasah. Jaganye gunavrittistha madhye tishtanti rajasa. Somebody who is situated in the mode of passion, they continue to stay in the middle platform, on the earthly platform. And people who are situated in the higher modes, in the mode of goodness, they go to the higher planets. So food determines our consciousness. What consciousness do we develop? If we eat food in the mode of goodness, we develop satoguna, mode of goodness. And what kind of mentality, what kind of consciousness we have, that depends on what type of food we like. In Ramayana, there is a story, there is a pastime which talk about the influence of food in our consciousness. Even Bharata is going from Ayodhya to the forest to bring Lord Ram back. The first thing he arrives at is Shringverpur, where Nishadaraj Guha resides. And when Guha comes to know that a big army is coming this way, and that army is from Ayodhya, that is the flag bearing of Ayodhya, and Bharat is bringing that army here. So Guha immediately gets a thought, why is Bharata coming with the whole army? Maybe his intentions are not right. Maybe he is thinking Ram is alone in the forest and this is a good opportunity for me. I should go and finish off Ram so that he doesn't come back after 14 years and reclaim his kingdom. So Guha had that thought, and he was ready to fight with Bharata, that I will have my army, my men fight against Bharat's army. Then what one elderly person, he suggested Guha, do not doubt intentions of Bharata. You should go and test him. You should test his intention. Why is he coming here? And how to test the intentions of somebody, how to test what is their consciousness? By food. What type of food they eat will show their level of consciousness. So Guha arranged different type of food. He arranged food in mode of goodness. He arranged food in the mode of passion. He arranged food which is in the mode of ignorance. So for goodness, he arranged fruits and roots. For mode of passion, he arranged food which is Hare Krishna. So
No, not yet. The phone.
okay. So for mode of passion, he arranged food which is like flesh, animal flesh and all, and then for ignorance, he arranged food which is stale, like the stinking food, like the fish. So fish is considered as a mode of ignorance. So he arranged all sort of food and took it to Bharata. So what does this pastime show? He was trying to test the consciousness of Bharata based on what type of food he will select. But even before Bharata could select any food or something, Bharata, the way he reciprocated towards Guha, so he understood what is Guha's intention. He immediately jumped out of his chariot and paid obeisances to Guha. Why? Because Vashishta Muni had told Guha is friend of Rama. And Bharata immediately jumped and paid obeisances. And Guha was surprised seeing that. The whole pastime about the food, which why I'm mentioning, is food shows the level of consciousness of somebody, what type of food we eat. So food is very, very important in terms of our developing our consciousness. And effect of cooking the food cooked by somebody who is with impure thoughts also affects our consciousness. Even though it's a food itself is sattvic, is in the mode of goodness, but somebody who has cooked that food, his consciousness is not right. So that feeling, his thought process also enters into the food and affects the person who is eating that food. So it's not about just food itself, but the way the food is cooked. See, earlier people will cook the food in the wood fire, right? That's how the food was cooked earlier. If we talk about like 50, 70 years back, people will have that chula in which they burn the wood and cook the food on that. And the system, the culture was, before they start cooking the food, they will put some atta into the fire. They will put some ghee into the fire. That is like doing the yagya, offering the oblations in the fire. And then they cook on that fire. And after cooking also, generally the culture is first chapati is taken out for cow. That oh, this first chapati is for the cow. And then after everybody has eaten, they will make last chapati, which is for the dog. And then before they sit to eat, when they sit to eat, they fold hands, sprinkle some water around the food, and pray. It is generally like offering the food and showing our gratitude for giving us that food. Now we can make nice offering. We can put in the plate, put a tulsi leaf on that, put it in front of Krishna, recite the prayers, and request Krishna, please accept this bhoga. So that is like a yagya, right? Just offering the food to Krishna and then take that as prasad. That is like a yagya. So it is just a matter of switching our consciousness. When we go to the market, we see some nice fruit. We can think, oh, let me get that fruit so I can offer it to Krishna. Then it becomes a yagya. But if somebody think, oh, this fruit looks very nice, these apples, these grapes, or these watermelon look very nice, let me go and enjoy, let me eat that. So if we are getting it for our own enjoyment, then what is it? Krishna is saying agham papam. Then it is sin. If we see nice flower in the garden and we think, oh, this is very nice flower, let me worship Krishna, offer it to Krishna, then that becomes a yagya. But if we think, oh, so many nice flowers, let me decorate myself or decorate my home with these flowers, then it is like agham papam. Then we are thinking of enjoying for ourselves. So it is just a matter of switching our consciousness, how we see. And what Krishna is mentioning in these verses is the system of yagya that differentiate humans from animals. And everybody want to enjoy in this world. But if we don't understand that our real enjoyment is to cooperate with Krishna, our real enjoyment is when we harmonize with the laws of God. So just for an example, if there is a rich man and he has a servant, the servant can cook the nice preparations for his master and he serves to the master. Now, after master has eaten all those same preparations, he will tell servant, oh, you can also eat. So servant is also enjoying all those preparations which he has cooked for his master. But if the servant start thinking, oh, let me make some nice preparation for myself, and he is not giving that food to his master, but he is eating for himself. He's taking all desi ghee and all the nice stuff and preparing some nice halwa with nice badams and everything, and he is eating for himself. And if the master comes to know, what will happen? He will fire him. Right? You are stealing my property, you are enjoying for yourself, you are fired. So, but if he is cooking everything and serving to the master, then he can also enjoy the remaining stuff. That is our process of offering to Krishna. Recognizing Krishna is our master, we offer everything to Krishna, and then we can also enjoy the prasad. Krishna says, okay, now you take it, you eat it. Another example is if somebody very rich person, he has a very nice luxury car, and he is a driver who is driving that car. So when the driver is driving the car, the owner of the car is sitting behind, and the nice AC is running, nice music system is playing, nice comfortable seats. So the driver also is utilizing all the benefits of that luxury car, right? He is also riding in that car, he is also enjoying everything. But if he says, oh, this is my car, I want to enjoy, and he start taking that car for a ride for himself, or he start using that car for his personal matters, to take his family for some shopping or something, and the master comes to know, what will happen? He will say, oh, you are utilizing this car for your personal thing, you are laid off, fired. So that is our situation also. We need to understand everything is coming from Krishna, I need to utilize in service of Krishna. Our tendency is we want to enjoy, and we forget who is the real enjoyer and how we can really enjoy. Our enjoyment is in service of Krishna. So I heard one story or one example from Devamrita Maharaj once. He was mentioning, just like in a college, right? If the boy goes to the college and he see a beautiful girl there, and he has a crush on the first sight, and he's trying to see now how I can impress that girl, how I can please that girl, and maybe she can be my girlfriend. So he is thinking how to impress that girl. Now he realizes, oh, this girl is very rich and I am a poor person, so there is incompatibility. Why will she be interested in me? So to impress that girl, maybe he approaches few of his other friends who are well to do. Somebody gives him some nice clothes, somebody gives him his shoes, somebody gives him his bike also for some time, and gives him some perfume or something. So this boy, he gets everything and wears his nice clothes and shoes and everything, and comes in front of that girl. He try to approach that girl, but in the meantime some another very rich guy comes, and he talk to that girl, and he walk away with that girl. And this person who had tried to arrange everything to impress that girl, he is just standing there and looking. And the other boy, the rich boy who's taking that girl, he looks at this boy and tells, oh, she's mine. So same thing actually Maharaj says in the material world. Right? This is what is happening with us also. This material world is just like the college, and this material nature is like that beautiful girl, and we are all like the beggars. We are all like that poor boy who want to impress that material nature, to utilize the resources of that material nature. We don't have any of these facilities. Our senses are limited, our life duration is limited. So we approach various Devi Devatas and ask them for some benefits, some gifts to enjoy in this world. And when we want to enjoy the resources of material nature, another rich person comes. Who is that? That is Krishna. Krishna comes and say, oh, this is mine, she belongs to me, that is my prakriti, my energy, mama maya dhurattaya. So my material energy is very difficult to overcome. No matter how much you try to enjoy the material nature, or you try to get the resources of this material nature, you can never be happy without, if you try to enjoy that separate from Krishna. So with the whole Karmakanda principle, we can try to get some material resources. Ultimately, it does not lead to any happiness if we don't connect with the right purpose. And that right purpose is pleasing Krishna. So text number 14 and 15, now Krishna further explained the cycle of sacrifice, the cycle of Yagya. So I will not recite the verse, I will directly, maybe briefly mention what these verses talk about. So here Krishna says, grains come from rain come from Yagya, Yagya come from performance of our activity, our duty. And our duty is prescribed in the Vedas. And Vedas are manifested from the Supreme Lord. So that becomes as a cycle. Then thus all pervading Supreme Lord is situated in the Yagya. So ultimate purpose is to please the Supreme Lord. So again, grains come from rain. Without proper rain, there cannot be grain. And our lives are dependent on grains. And rain comes by performance of Yagya. Yagya means performance of our duty, our prescribed duty. And how do we know what is our prescribed duty? That is mentioned in the scriptures. Who gave the scriptures? Scriptures are given by the Supreme Lord. So ultimately, everything connects back with Krishna, and we are supposed to please the Supreme Lord. Now, people think generally taking care of our family, taking care of our house, that is our duty. But higher than that is taking care of the supreme occupation that we discuss in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Also, there are two types of duties. One is the duty at the level of body. Another one is duty at the level of our spiritual connection with Krishna. Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. So higher duty is not to take care of body, but to take care of the soul. Taking care of just body, one is doing the duty, no doubt, but it is incomplete duty. So we have horizontal relationships and we have our vertical relationship. Our horizontal relationship with all the different entities of this material world. As we talked about those 5 types of sacrifices, 5 types of yagya to pay off the 5 types of debt. So those are all the horizontal relationships. And then the vertical relationship is with Krishna. And only in the human form of life, we can perceive that vertical relationship by performance of yagya. So along with karma, there is yagya, and one should not think if I'm just going to temple, I'm doing some favor to Krishna or I'm doing favor to God. Why we are going to temple? Not to give a favor to Krishna. See, Krishna, I have come. It is for our own benefit. It is for our own purification. So when we want to know about karma, we cannot know by our own efforts. We have to turn to scriptures. So I'm just going over the different sections of these 2 verses. First, we talk about the yagya. The performance of yagya is important, and that is by performance of our duty. And how do we understand our duty? Right? We cannot understand our duty by ourselves. For that, we have to turn to scriptures. So we cannot understand by our own effort or by our own speculation. We turn to scriptures to understand what are my prescribed duties mentioned. And when we understand the scriptures, when we try to understand the scriptures, then the Lord start to manifest himself. He start to reveal himself. So this is up to text number 15. We discussed the system of yagya, which is for material benefit, but the higher goal is our purification, purifying our existence. So we'll continue from text 16 onwards in the next session. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Okay, let's see if there is any discussion, any questions. Okay, anybody to open up the discussion? Or everything very clear? Either you understood everything or you did not understand anything.
Prabhuji, I just kind of sorry that I joined late. Came late. But what is your definition of yagna? Yagna has to be a couple of things, like it has to be together with more than one person, right? And then it has to be done for higher authority like Krishna and all that. And it has to be karma action. But yagna is, how the temples does all kinds of things like Hindu temple and they have all different exotic things, even the Ramakrishna Ashwamedh Yagna and all those things. And on the other side, anything you do for God is considered yagna. Is that correct understanding?
So we discussed about that. Yagya is in principle also, and yagya is activity. As activity, generally people think yagya as fire sacrifice, which is elaborate arrangements for performing that yagya. There is a yagya kund, right, established, and then we perform some brahmana sitting there chanting the mantras and putting oblations in the fire. That is fire sacrifice. That, yes, that is also a yagya. But here Krishna is talking yagya as a principle also. Anything, activity, performing our prescribed duties in connection with Krishna by remembering Krishna, that also becomes as a yagya. So we talked about when we chant our mantras, our holy names, right? Chanting, doing our japa, that is also a yagya. Performing kirtan, that is also a yagya. Offering the food in front of the Lord. You cook something, put it in the plate nicely, put a tulsi leaf and put it in front of Krishna, offer to Krishna. That is also a yagya. So yagya means any activity by which we are showing our gratitude for the Supreme Lord. That is a yagya. Now, another question becomes generally, what is considered pap or punya? Right? People bring up this question of many times. What is really punya? What is really pap? One plain definition of pap and punya is any activity which pleases Krishna, that is punya. Any activity, no matter how good you may be thinking this activity, but if that activity does not please Krishna, that is pap. So simple, plain definition. Anything which pleases Krishna is punya. Anything which does not please Krishna is pap. Arjuna was thinking, if I fight in this war, if I kill all my relatives, that will be pap. But Krishna says, no, do that. I will become pleased. So that is not pap. That is punya. Right? So any activity which pleases Krishna, that is punya. Now on the other side, we know in Mahabharat war, when Krishna told Yudhishthira Maharaj, you say Ashwatthama is dead. And Yudhishthira thought he used his intelligence. Yudhishthira said, how I can lie? Lying will be sin, right? Lying will be pap. But because Yudhishthira thought, I don't want to lie and I will not say Ashwatthama is dead. So he added some other part, other sentence in the line. Ashwatthama is dead. I don't know elephant or the human one. And Krishna was not pleased with that. Even though Yudhishthira said, oh, I am doing punya, I am speaking the truth. But Krishna was not pleased. For Yudhishthira Maharaj, that adding that sentence against the direction of Krishna became like a sin, became like a pap. And just for that one thing, Yudhishthira had to go to hell for a few moments. So plain definition of pap and punya, again, whatever pleases Krishna is punya, whatever displeases Krishna is pap. And yagya, our activity, which is we are showing our gratitude to Krishna, that is yagya. So our chanting is also yagya, our offering food to Krishna is also yagya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Vijay Prabhu.
Just out of curiosity, I want to know, this Parsis have elaborate, rituals with fire and all. Some stick into that, any idea about what they have? Very close.
I haven't studied what Parsis do, so my understanding is not much about what they do, so I cannot comment on that one. But every culture, every faith, they have some system of yagya, right? Some system. Let's say even they may have their twisted understanding, but it is in their understanding that is like the system of yagya. Like even in Christianity, they go in church, and in church what they do is they offer bread and wine to the Lord, and then they take it as prasad. Right? So for them that is like a yagya, even though it's not as a recommended way, not as a sattvic food or something, but that's how they have concocted something. But from their side, they are performing it as a yagya, as a gratitude to the Lord. So every faith has some way of recognizing the supremacy of the Lord and showing their gratitude. They may be doing it in a wrong way, but at least they have that understanding. Yes, there is a higher authority and we need to show our gratitude to that.
Right, Prabhuji, yeah.
Even in the tribal people, right? They may not have the right understanding about God. They may worship some mountain or some river or some tree, and they offer some things to them. So they are accepting there is some higher authority, and we are paying our debts towards them by offering something to them.
Just an offshoot question, probably. This Jainism, for example, I felt that it's only a part of Hinduism, a larger picture. But they
Of
always
course.
refer them as a separate thing, like Jain, Sikh, and all those stuff.
So they can say whatever they want to, but the truth is everything has emerged from Sanatan Dharma. Everything has emerged from the Vedic culture. What we call Hinduism also actually is not the right dharma, right? Hinduism also is some shifted form of Vedic dharma, Vedic culture, Sanatan Dharma. And then Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, all these are part of Sanatan Dharma only. They are the offshoots of Sanatan Dharma.
So we can call Sanatan Dharma as a larger one.
So basically, if we consider all the world religions can be put into two categories. One is Sanatan Dharma, the Vedic culture, which is we call as a Brahmic religion, and then the another one is a Brahmic religion. Right? A Brahmic religion is only Islam and Christianity. They come under, or even what is this? This Parsi and all also ultimately come in that category. So that is Abrahamic religion, which started from Abraham. Right? That's why they are called Abrahamic religion. Another one are the Sanatan Dharma, which comes from the Supreme Lord. Ultimately, all these dharmas, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, and all, it started from there only. It came from Hinduism only, or Sanatan Dharma only.
Prabhuji, Judaism is also, you are talking about Jewish.
Judaism, yeah, I was talking about Judaism is part of Abrahamic religion.
Abraham is a Jewish also, right?
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah, because their all roots trace back to Abraham.
Jew, I mean that Israel or something.
Right. right? Jerusalem. So
Jerusalem.
they start from Adam and Eve. They're all these religions, their starting point is Adam and Eve. And then Ibrahim had two sons. From one son came Muhammad, from another son ultimately came Christ. So this become two branches. One started Islam, another started Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is a whole lot. We have a whole seminar on this world religion. I have a whole presentation on that. If somebody is interested, we can go over that sometime.
It'll be nice, Prabhuji. I mean, to
Okay.
understand. Thank you.
Yeah, let's come back to the topic and see if there is any other question, comment, or otherwise we will end it here. Okay, so thank you once again, everyone, for joining in this discussion. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.